happening. But if you have globals coming behind you, that can disrupt that a lot. Team Good Guys will need to find a way to adjust to handle Fnatic, and it's time to get this draft started, so let's do it.
And for the Good Guys, as they said in the past, it's a lot about also gaining the experience. They want to make sure that they are prepared as well as they can for the Crucible. Since they expect, of course, to play, they're already scouting out the Open Division teams. They want to make sure that they have another phase, another season in HGC here. And they actually improved a lot already over Phase 2. It's just they never really got the foothold that they were hoping for, that they expected. And they quite openly admitted at roughly the halfway mark that they underestimated a bit the amount of practice that they have to put in to contest or to just like be a contender in the league.
Yeah, but they have definitely shown that once they understood how much practice they have to put in, it definitely can help out a lot for them. They put on a lot of good games here. A lot of Team Good Guys matches they're down on the bottom 8 of the standings right now, but if you actually look at their matches, it feels like they shouldn't quite be there.
We had a lot of these teams.
Yeah.
We talked about the Playing Ducks quite a bit with the same scenario. Last phase, on the other hand, if you think about it, we said the same about Tricked. And now Tricked is all of a sudden winning half of these games, or even a little bit more than that. And they made a massive jump in the standings. So it just shows how close Europe actually is. But of course, we have the dominant team all the way up at the top, and that is still Fnatic, currently in the lead here. With Genji being banned out, let's see what they get rid of. Oftentimes, they actually opted into a ban on Abathur. That might change here. Personally, I really am more so interested in even in what the Good Guys are picking as their first pick, because they have so highly prioritized Rhaegar over and over again. And I don't really think it would be a great choice for them to go into a Rhaegar first pick here. So I would love for them to change it up. And they do, ETC. I love this. I love this a lot, because I was a bit afraid that they would just fall back into that.
Could have seen it. Giving away the ETC into Haka would have been terrifying, and they decide, yes, it is, and they go ahead and pick up the ETC here. So, question for you, are we going to have that as a main tank for BKB, or do you think we're going to have an off-lane Soaker with Anti-Hero running it?
It's actually, I feel like at this point, it's impossible to tell. It depends a bit on what else they draft, since one of the highlights that we have about ETC is always this flexibility as an early pick. So I think they're going to make that decision depending on what Fnatic is now going to choose. I think ideally they would actually play it on BKB, but right now we have to wait for the draft. If they feel the need to, if they get another hero that they think can be the solo laner, if they get any other global, then I think they're going to run ETC as the main tank. If they feel they need to add another strong tank, for example, if Anti-Hero jumps on Arthas again, then we could definitely have an Arthas and ETC combo, which we have seen with great success in the past. So if that happens, then I would say we're going to have BKB on ETC on the offlane and Anti-Hero as the main tank on Arthas.
Personally, I think I prefer that, BKB be on the offlane. I think he's a much better player when he's a flanker and he's able to show up when disruptions are already happening. When he's the one that goes in for the hard engages, it seems like there's some miscommunication between him and the teammates, and usually he gets picked off. So I would love to see him become the flanker, so the side lane ETC would be great for that.
I would actually agree with that. I think a lot of his playstyle, they're sometimes a bit in a weird spot. He has a very aggressive playstyle, and if you're the solo laner, and if you're especially a global, you can usually make more plays. With the Haka, as we saw in the last one, you can argue he was in a few situations maybe even overly aggressive with the Haka there, but overall I think that playstyle suits him more than being that staple frontline tank that you need to be for your team. So given the option, he usually goes in. So
that's kind of a hard thing to struggle with when you're building out a team, trying to figure out what your individual players do well and how to mix that into your game plan and make sure that they all stick together.
I mean, it's definitely also challenging for them, since Anti-Hero is a great solo laner, so naturally you would think about him running the solo lane, but we have seen him more in a main tank role as of late, and I think they look better lately. I think they look stronger with us. So if that's currently their thought process, I would really like them to pursue it a bit more and just practice like it for the upcoming matches, test it in HGC, and get ready for their Crucible match, because then I think they have a very good chance of beating out some of these teams. Because, to be honest, European Open Division, there are some really good teams that are trying to make it. Yeah, like even more than that. Like the top 10 that is in there are some incredible teams. So I would say the playoffs are, first of all, for Open Division going to be super interesting. And then the Crucible itself, that's going to be some hard-fought matches for sure.
And that's coming in a few short weeks for those that are looking for the Crucibles. I believe in 4 weeks. Don't quote me on it, but yes, we are getting closer and closer to it. All right, here. So Rhaegar and Valla gets picked up. So Team Good Guys going with their standard pickups. So Rhaegar, which they prioritize and love so much for many reasons. Valla will be their next pickup. Bans popping in. Fnatic says, you know what? We're not feeling the Toronto. We're going to go ahead and ban her out.
I understand that completely. Tyrande, after ETC's original stun, having that follow-up is incredibly strong. We've seen the impact that Raid Boss had on the hero in the last match, so that's a good ban for them for sure. Medivh banned out, I can also wholeheartedly agree with it. Fnatic has shown some Medivh play, and Shrimpy is quite strong on it. But before we have the next two picks coming in, I just want to come back quickly to Open Division. So if you guys out there, if you have a team, you play maybe in some of the amateur leagues already in Europe, that's of course HOTS Launch in NA, that's Chair League, then you might also want to take a closer look at HGC Open Division, and you can find all the information on the HGC website, so definitely jump in there. It's bi-weekly tournaments where you can gain points so that you can make it into the playoffs at the end of the season, and that's your shot to get into HGC. It's pretty competitive, it's also a lot of fun, so if you guys want to give it a shot, then definitely try and do that, and you will realize pretty quickly that it's a completely different game if you compare it to your solo queue or even your team league queue in the client itself. So a tournament environment with the draft, with teams researching each other is incredibly fun and a lot of difference, so definitely give that a shot and try your luck in HGC Open Division, and maybe next season we're going to cast you already.
Yeah, and that's available for every region, by the way, so North America too as well is running that, so if you have the chance, hop into it and see how you fare against some of the best. Alright, Anubrek and Uther. So we have our main tank, we have Uther once again here for Fnatic. Anubrek probably going to be that pickup for Breeze, and then Dahaka being played by Wubby is always a treat, man. If you are trying to learn how to play Dahaka, watch him as much as you can on the mini-map. This guy knows how to run this hero. In fact, I've been running Dahaka lately a lot just because of Wubby, and I just wish I could be half as good as he is.
The timings are definitely absolutely insane.
Yeah.
As we have the last two picks, coming back quickly to Open Division, if you are actually playing mostly solo and you don't really have a team, there are currently leagues in Europe and also like third-party leagues in Europe and in North America, where as an individual player you can also play in a team, and it's a pretty cool system. So checked out HOTS Launch for the Europeans and Chair League for North Americans. Both of those offer a lot of tools how you can play with other people, how you can find a team and then just like play on a level, try to improve there, and maybe then find a few friends that you can form like fixed team with.
I would, seriously, before we get off of this, I would argue that you should try it once. Like, playing this game as a team is infinitely better than anything that you'll experience by yourself. It's amazing playing Heroes of the Storm together and trying to linear draft, find a way to play the game and try to find that win condition. Oh, it's so fun.
It's also, you get a whole new appreciation for drafting.
Yeah, you really do.
It's completely different from any kind of solo queue drafting, as we said before. But yeah, the good guys are rounding the draft now out with like heroes that we mentioned earlier. As I said, Arthas is something that I wanted to see. I said it when we saw ETC coming in, because I really believe that if you have anti-hero on Arthas, BKB can also play him, and then you have an ETC in the game as well. The control that you gain by having both of these tanks is pretty fantastic. The issue, of course, is that you put a lot of your damage into the Vala basket, so you have to be very careful to keep her alive. That's where Oriel and Rhaegar come into play. But the setup that the good guys are running, this is an... If you want to, at any point, try a draft, check out what the good guys are doing here. It's incredibly strong. You have a lot of tools with CC, stun by ETC, Arthur's follow-up, Vala gets the damage in, you can keep Vala alive. It's a really cool draft to have, a very safe draft as well, very standard too, and it's arguably easier to execute it than a lot of other drafts where you are basically your win or loss hinges on a very fragile melee assassin or anything else. So this is definitely a cool draft for them, and it's also right down their alley. They really love to play these heroes. They had great success with them already in the past. So I think for the good guys, this is their comfort zone that they're playing now.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is something that they do run very well. On the other side, we got the Abathur for the 5th pick here. Abathur going to help out the Dahaka pretty handily in shutting down the map. But this is good news for the good guys here. They have a chance to control the first couple of temples and maybe get a lead against Abathur, because he is a bit on the weaker side when it comes to control due to his lack of body. So if we have a Vala get aggressive, get a couple of picks in the early game, Team Good Guys can make it work. So I want to see some aggression from them, both in mercenary camps and trying to fight.
Now, there are, of course, also a few problems that the good guys have, because with Dahaka and Abathur in your game, Dahaka can simply burrow to any lane, make it a 1 versus 2, and then if you have Abathur moving in, then it's more or less an easy kill confirmed if you can get that gank set up properly. And also, any solo lane is going to be very difficult for TGG to win, since Abathur can help out with a symbiote and turn it around quite easily. So that's one of the problems that you might encounter here. And if you look at the drafts, then you see quite quickly that there's no global available outside of ETC's stage dive on the side of TGG. So in the early game, that could become a bit of an issue. But again, both drafts are pretty good. The burden of execution definitely more so on Fnatic's side,
Yeah.
but quite the strong draft in the early game, as you pointed out, for TGG now as well. And they showed their skills in the last map. Maybe this time they have a shot at taking Fnatic down here.
Let's see if that shot is going to work out for them. Game number 2 here. We're moving into Sky Temple. Team Good Guys are currently down 1-0 to Fnatic. And Fnatic is ready to show off the Saber composition and try to shut down this early game of Team Good Guys.
Game on map number 2, Sky Temple. Kronos for TGG on Oriel. We see BKB on ETC. We have Say on Vala, and of course, once again, Antihero after his performance on the last map. He's playing Arthas again with Raid Boss, this time on Rega, as Fnatic banned out Toronto.
On the right side, in the red, Quatnick's playing the gray main, Schwimpy playing Abathur, Breeze on a Nubrax, Mexi playing Uther, and Wubby on Dahaka. And as a reminder, watch that mini-map. Watch how he moves. Watch how safe he is when it comes to soaking, but also how punishing he can be with that Dahaka.
Yeah, his plays with Dahaka are definitely noteworthy. We have actually a couple of really, really strong Dahaka players in Europe. Also, Nurok, another one to be pointed out. So at this point, pressure play down to the bottom of the map, and they're actually going for Antihero immediately, and the drag connects, and that's an easy kill. And that is bad luck, because the big problem that they're having now is, with this kill, there's no experience to be gathered anymore at the bot lane for the Good Guys. It's not only about the towers falling, it's about who can soak some EXP, and Abathur can always do that with a symbiote up at the top.
And he's doing that right now, soaking the experience, getting his body in the middle, so he's getting effectively 2 ways. With the kill in the bottom, Team Good Guys going to miss out on some slight experience. Rhaegar heading down there to finally soak it up, but definitely a cost-worthy kill there for Team Good Guys. They have 3 in the top, but a Nubrack sharking around, looking for maybe a kill if they stay too long, but Team Good Guys leave just in time.
So both teams have taken down a wall here with that early aggression. The Good Guys up at the top and Fnatic at the bottom of the map. Now, at the early beginning, if the Good Guys actually now fight for the top temple, it would mean that the fort is likely to fall here. So that's pretty big for them, as the middle temple will attack the middle. So there could be an early lead in experience for the Good Guys thanks to structural damage.
Let's see if they're able to get it here. For now, they are putting multiple members in the top. ETC, Oriel, and Vala will control the next temple. Rhaegar soaking in the middle.
This is actually why we're currently seeing also Fnatic starting to focus the top temple a little bit more, because they identified that problem as well. In the meantime, we have Arthas at the bottom of the map. But yeah, Fnatic very much so wants the top temple, because they know if they don't win this one, their fort's a goner.
The problem with this temple being grabbed at Fnatic, it means our friend that we made last week, Freddy the Fort, gets taken out pretty quickly. Fnatic looking to kill him.
Yeah, but maybe he survives a little bit longer than last time.
Maybe.
There's an Abathur also on the side. I think Freddy actually switched to the right side this time, so he's playing for the
The
red team.
first fort that dies is always Freddy from now on. All right, we have rules now. Top lane fort on Sky Temple is Freddy, and the first one to die officially takes on the name.
I'm not trying to be mean here, but Freddy the Fort is a pretty big loser, so yeah, he always dies first.
There he goes. Freddy the Fort, slowly but surely getting chunked down. Fnatic unable to come in and fight. They put Dahaka in the middle with a Nubrack, so they're able to trade out some shots overall, and they have a decent experience lead thanks to Abathur. But if that fort does fall, it is going to be painful for them.
Yeah, this is also one of those moments where you can tell that the lack of... Freddy is down, by the way. But the lack of globals is a bit of a problem for the Good Guys here. After level 10 for ETC, they can spec into the stage dive. It's going to help them. But they had to keep Arthas down at the bot lane for the entire time.
Good moves by them, though. They came into the middle, and they got the last couple of shots. Things like this are important.
And also, they are still keeping up in experience. And that's important against what we're seeing here. Now, Fnatic's problem, so to say, is, of course, still Abathur here. So they need to be careful with his weaker early game. But overall, they've done really well. So Fnatic used their global a bit more to make sure that they get control and experience. And the Good Guys, the better presence on the map, as they have 5 buddies, whereas Fnatic needs to wait for Abathur's heroic ability to come in.
Fnatic coming in for a big gank. They'll find that Arthas, he is taking some damage, but Kronos was on the side here with the heals. Will the heals be enough? Rhaegar showing up, Raid Boss helping out just in time, and Good Guys are hoping to turn it around.
Yeah, that was a last-second heal that came in from Raid Boss, and then the double support started to kick in, but Antihero looked very, very dead at that point, so great save by the 2 supports here. Good Guys able to make it work, and now they have actually the camp at the bot lane, the Siege Giants, that are starting to chunk away at one of the towers and drop it.
Pinball Wizard being picked up by the ETC here on BKB. So it's looking like he's won the team fight more often. The ability to go into a power slide and then drop a face melt afterwards does 300% more damage. This will hurt their wave clear a little bit, but still a different adjustment here for BKB.
Yeah, also with him going into the loudspeakers on level 4, you can already tell that at some point we're going to see that come into play on the boss fight.
Yes.
That's definitely... Oftentimes when you talk about Sky Temple, a lot of these games come down to a big fight around the boss, where the team that is behind, for example, realizes that they have a small time window on which they are on even talents. Their opponent is about to hit 20, for example, and they simply force the boss because they say, we need to do something. This is the only fight that we will get on even talents if we force our opponent to react to a boss call. And then it's basically it's a Hail Mary move. It's do or die. So if you get that boss by simply using a level 4 on ETC, by having the loudspeakers and the increased range on the knockback, that can be a game changer. So that talent could play a huge role later on.
ETC very good at controlling due to that talent. Also Encore at 13 is another option that you can pick up to help control those bosses, getting a second knockback on that face melt wherever you place it initially. Temple does spawn on the bottom. So we will have both of our teams nice and even on experience. Dahaka's working on that top lane with ETC matching him for the moment. The problem with ETC being in the top is that Dahaka can come down and turn that into a quick 5v4 if Team Good Guys overstep. So you're seeing them play careful. Only Anti was the one willing to walk into a bush as he can tank that initial shot.
And they don't really want to go for it. They know that this is the big threat here. And even with Abathur in play, they're just not risking it at all. So they give up the temple and instead try to find experience in the mid lane where they're starting to push in. Shrimpy is behind the wall and is slugging the way out of there, since he knows, of course, that that would be an easy kill if Xay picks up on it. It's actually interesting how Abathur play overall has changed a bit. You don't soak as much with your body anymore on the lane than you did in the past, because most teams have really started to pick up on how to isolate and take down Abathur, especially with those mobile heroes that we see these days. Good aggression here also from Fnatic, trying to take Rhaegar down. That didn't quite work out for them, but they are definitely out there on the map and put the good guys into a more defensive position now.
Yeah, good reaction there by the Rhaegar, able to turn around. Had one more auto attack, maybe gotten off there by Greybane. He could have came in to go for the throat and finished him off, but Rhaegar getting back to his teammates just in time. Made it a bit easier for him. 10 for 10 for both of our teams, and we're going to have the Giants grabbing the bottom left. ETC still trying to match the Dahaka on the top left, and Dahaka is just pushing that lane in. That wave clear really helping him out.
Yeah, Wooby is doing work right now up to the top, and BKB has to be careful here. Even moving back home, trying to get his mana back, he can always join into a fight if Antihero starts to lock someone down with a Howling Blast. And we have that 4-man of the good guys just moving between lanes at this point and also aggressively starting to look for fights. Smexy already there. Boss actually gets aggroed for a second. The stun connects with Anti, but there's no real follow-up just yet. But both of the teams are on level 11, so the experience is identical. And the only death that we have seen so far, the only kill, was the one against Antihero earlier on at the bottom of the map, right at the beginning of the game.
Kind of floating around for both of our teams. The only things they have to worry about is clearing out the lanes and then make sure the boss isn't grabbed by either of them. The next major point that we may have an aggressive fight will be around the next temple phase, unless Fnatic is able to find someone that is isolated. So far, though, Team Good Guys is doing a good job of, one, having the Arthas check the bushes and go in the front line, but also having their supports on the backside in case he does get in trouble. So no action really popping out.
Yeah, it's all about camps and also, of course, about the temples. And this is where the game now really starts up, because we have the copy for Abathur. It's ready. So he has his heroic ability. He has the ultimate evolution now. And we have an invade, actually, as Antihero tries to go for the camp, but it's a little bit late on his part here. Can't force the fight, and those two Siege Giants have already been claimed. Dahaka has taken the top temple, and ETC is now starting to contest him as the rest of the team moves to the bot lane. So eventually, we're very likely to see a 5 versus 5 battle over the bottom temple here.
There we are. Arthas controlling on the bottom side. ETC contesting Dahaka slightly, but nothing too crazy as he goes into the lane to get the experience instead. Want to make sure he doesn't fall behind, because with 13 hits, Fnatic will push that small window and go for a kill. Freeze with the Impale will stop Arthas for a slight amount of time, but Anti doesn't mind, man. Arthas is able to take quite a beating.
Yeah, Bree is moving away for now. They know they win the top temple currently, so they're willing to give the bottom up for the time being. ETC is just trying to soak experience. Fnatic has taken 13. That has to be a concern for the good guys now. And we see Breeze actually trying to go for the backline. Wooby comes in as well, and they're going for Xay, and he is down. Nobody close enough to help him out. Oriel is also falling. Ults on Rhaegar and Oriel not even used. An Antihero popping his army, but there's a 5 versus 1, and he has fallen. Triple kill as Fnatic times it perfectly with a level 13 talent and sneaks into the back line with Breeze on an Uborak and Whoopi on the Haka.
Perfect timing and perfect coordination. The heroics not used by Rhaegar and Ariel were due to one, Dahaka, and then Cocoon being utilized.
Yeah.
Cocoon on the Rhaegar prevented from doing it, and then the moment that we wanted Ariel to turn around and go in for the heal or even drop the Aegis, Dahaka landed the important tongue, and Zay just got annihilated.
Was absolutely perfect coordination here, and this is just like the hallmark of Fnatic overall. Yeah, just watch out for the two supports. So the Cocoon being used first of all, and then they jump immediately on Xay. There's absolutely nothing to be done. Isolation hits Oriel, and once Vala is down, as we said before, your damage is gone. Your hopes in these fights is Vala. You need to keep her alive, and Fnatic used Isolation and Cocoon just in perfect coordination here, and it was a very well organized kill, and all of a sudden, Fnatic has taken a 2-level lead.
Just like that. They got the temple shots as well, got the boss pushing in the bottom side, Smexy taking some harassment in the middle, as Team Good Guys are looking for a fight. The stage dive, it does not connect. As Smexy actually looked like he was going to the top right corner, but I think he cut vision and went to the left, missing out there. Wubby is taking some damage, but Smexy be able to give him a cleanse and keep him alive as he tries to retreat. Will they be able to get Wubby out?
Yeah, they try to, but here comes Cocoon, and Whoopi with the Divine Shield is actually able to escape. Lot of cooldowns being used for this though. Cocoon and Divine Shield both being utilized. Shrimpy also committing to the copy on Abathur. He's trying to get a little bit of damage in, but in the end he's not going to be able to make anything happen here. The big problem for the Good Guys is though that the bot lane is now completely open and the keep has already taken damage, which means that Abathur and Dahaka are going to start pushing the lane heavily to try and get the keep. And of course, it's of course made even easier by the level 16 talent that Fnatic has now just picked up with that 2-level lead still in place.
Scary moment here for Team Good Guys, being behind on Sky Temple. All 3 forts killed off, but keep weak on the bottom side. Dahaka and Abathur on the field. Becomes very difficult for them to force fights, but we have seen Good Guys in the past make proper rotations to try and surprise their opponent. And one thing they can do is try to jump on them and the Giants in the bottom right corner. They may want to wait until level 16 does pop up, which they'll be able to do. One of the good things about losing the game so hard is that minion waves are pushing your way, so you do get some experience, but it's going to take some time.
It's an advantage, actually.
It's an advantage, actually. We got him right where we want him.
Uh-oh, set up here. Yeah, that is looking bad for him. But there's not enough stuns available, and the rotation of Good Guys is actually coming in, so they were a bit slow, Fnatic that is, to move in and try to get the kill. The setup was good, but the rotation was not fast enough, and the Good Guys were already on the move, so Fnatic opts actually out of the battle and says, well, we don't have to take this one. Let's play it safe. Another temple is activating, so let's fight for that instead.
Especially with Cocoon being a 70-second cooldown, nothing too crazy for them. Usually a lot of fights in Heroes of the Storm about 80 to 90 seconds, so...
Yeah, also if you think about the bot lane now, if they take the temple, it guarantees a keep that gets taken out. Oh, top lane on the other hand, ETC in a bit of trouble here, as we have Fnatic starting the rotation to the top and making a play for keep instead. They already identified that down at the bottom of the map we have the Good Guys basically in full force, and ETC is at the top. Here comes the stage dive. Okay.
It's going to be an engage, actually, with Arthas coming on the side here. Can they get the fight? Ariel is not with the team, so Zay has to be a bit careful. Divine Shield popped up for Greymane. He tries to go in for the kill. Quack going a little bit on the aggressive side. Smexy on the back side is taking damage from Anti-Hero as Raid Boss comes inside.
Quack was trying to get the kill with the cocktail explosion against Vala, but that didn't connect, and now we still have the fight over here. Krona is attacked by Dahaka in the back. Quacknix comes in, confirms the kill, and that's Oriel eliminated, not even using her own ult here once more. Getting completely knocked apart by Anti-Hero. Wants to get Smexy, he's low, but Abathur helps out. Quacknix on the other hand, he's in trouble and might fall here, and indeed he does. Xay is just stutter stepping the entire time, trying to get some more damage in. It's a 3 versus 3 for now, but Abathur is helping out too. Xay is still low, but somehow alive as he's finally blown to pieces.
An aggressive fight from both teams. Fnatic pulls out ahead here, with 4 members staying alive. Quacknix is the only one to fall down. But can they really do much to follow up here? Wubby staying on the top side with minions pushing in. Maybe they can put some damage on top of that keep.
Yeah, they should be able to. With Breeze still having mana available and proccing a few beetles, they definitely can soak some of the tower shots and then get damage in. They might not be... Well, if they get...
That's an Ariel.
Alright, that's an Ariel here. And ETC is also jumping in. Isolation hits him immediately upon hitting ground. And BKB is trying to slide out. He's not getting fooled here. But we have now Whoopi moving down to the bot lane again to confirm the kill against the keep at the bot lane. That should be an easy one for him. But the extra damage that Fnatic just put towards the top keep is going to make their life even easier later on. So that was definitely still a successful attack.
Yep, especially when that tempo comes up, be able to kill it off pretty quickly and work on the middle one as well.
And a staggered death against Oriel doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, definitely pretty good for them, especially as they move towards level 20. 3 levels ahead here, half a level towards level 20. And with that being said, Boss should be spawning pretty soon too, so we might see an all-in from Team Good Guys.
Yeah, that's actually what I would expect, that they are trying to YOLO it here. Now that they know, okay, there's no 20 yet for our opponents, they're trying to go for the camp first. The temple is still up, by the way, so Whoopi hasn't soaked the final few shots. He was a bit worried about the opponent maybe moving in and trying to gank him. But here is that Hail Mary attempt that we've been talking about earlier. Fnatic doesn't have 20. They will soon. They might actually have it for the fight, and yes, they do. But Team Good Guys, they're desperate at this point.
Yeah, they are. They are working on the boss. It goes down to under half health. After it was able to soak that 20 on the top side, Breeze comes around with the big impale, hits multiple members. Arthur stands on top of it, and he gets completely deleted. Here's an ETC, but the boss is already done.
Yeah, ETC is too late to use his face melt, so the coordination of the Good Guys is off quite a bit. Both of the tanks are now down as ETC has just fallen. Kronos is trying to keep Xay alive, but Raid Boss is also in trouble. There's just too many heroes dying too fast for the two supports to do anything about it. Down goes Vala. Kronos is dead. Only the dog is still alive, and he's on the run.
A little bit of a dance between
not
our
quite.
two. And then Breeze betrays him in the middle of the dance. Wow.
Breeze is just no fun.
Reported.
Yeah.
Well, the core takes damage here on the bottom side as the boss pushes in. A 3-level lead here for Fnatic. And game 1 looked pretty close, but game number 2, Fnatic shows why they are very strong on Sky Temple, and they shut the Good Guys out with a 2-0.
14 kills against 1, and Fnatic, the masters of Sky Temple, they do it again. They take the 2-0 lead over the Good Guys. Clean victory on the second map.
Clean victory is a very solid way to describe that. There was a couple bit of a scuffle in the top left corner that could have gone a little bit better for them, but overall Fnatic played this map perfectly, played it the way that they normally do, and you can see why they are such a tear on this battleground.
Yeah, they are looking fantastic here once again, and the Good Guys tried, but the time, like the level 13 fight was just perfect. The gank into the backline, and then they get a 2-level lead of that. They are starting to take keeps down, so Fnatic just uses that one moment that they have, executed perfectly, make sure that both of the supports have no chance to keep Vala alive. Vala falls, and then it's a cleanup job. So great job by Fnatic. And yeah, we have a 2-0 lead for them. So we're going to head into game number 3 soon.
We'll see if they qualify for the HGC finals right after this commercial break, where we'll see game number 3 between Good Guys and Fnatic.